Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are cracking open the archive files on what is, without a doubt, the most frustrating and utterly terrifying entity known to the Foundation. We're talking about SCP-682, the hard-to-destroy reptile. Now, we all know it completely despises humanity, but when you look closely at these containment logs, you realize just how staggering this threat truly is.
Right out of the gate, let's just set the stakes here. Atomic weaponry? Nope. Hellfire? Doesn't work. Military-grade missiles? The most corrosive chemicals known to man? We're talking direct hits. And none of it even makes a dent. The Foundation was actually so desperate at one point, they tried exposing it to SCP-999, the literal living embodiment of joy, hoping that maybe the cosmic power of love and kindness would do the trick. Spoiler alert, it didn't. SCP-682 is basically just the pure personification of pain and misery.
Okay, Section 1. Meet the Unkillable Lizard, the baseline facts. Let's dive right into this.
So, the official record plays it pretty cool. It simply states the Foundation is dealing with a large, vaguely reptile-like creature of unknown origin. But when you dig into the working theories among the researchers, well, that's where it gets genuinely terrifying. A lot of them theorize that it's actually one of the Scarlet King's 7 Leviathans. Yeah, bad news all around. But you know what the most worrying component of this thing is? It's not its massive size, or even where it came from. It's its absolute seething hatred for all life. It actively expresses this intense, violent disgust pretty much every single time researchers try to sit down and communicate with it.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of a Monster, Intelligence and Regeneration.
Here's the thing you have to remember. SCP-682 isn't just some mindless giant beast. It is incredibly intelligent. It observes us, it learns, and it's even been documented having complex conversations with other anomalous entities. For instance, during limited exposure periods, it actually chatted with the rogue artificial intelligence, SCP-079. So you aren't just dealing with a monster of pure brawn, you are up against a highly calculating predator.
And then there's the regeneration. This is the truly terrifying part, how its body reacts to damage. The creature grows and mutates at this staggering rate, literally absorbing energy from anything it ingests. Organic, inorganic, doesn't matter. Get this, SCP-682 has actually been observed moving, attacking, and speaking when its body is 87% destroyed or rotted away. Just picture that for a second. 87% gone. That means it's still coming for you when it's essentially just a foot, maybe a bit of an ankle, an eye, and some teeth. Its regenerative capabilities are just completely off the charts.
Section 3, The Containment Dilemma, Holding the Immovable Force. Seriously, how do you even contain an immovable force? Let's look at the track record.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer frequency of these events. SCP-682 is ridiculously strong, fast, and has lightning-quick reflexes, which means it participates in containment breaches worryingly often. To date, this thing has attempted to break out 17 separate times. And out of those 17 attempts, it successfully breached containment 6 times. Guys, that is a wildly massive failure rate when you're dealing with a literal apocalyptic threat.
And let me tell you, the cost of those breaches is staggeringly high. Because you can't tranquilize it, and obviously you can't kill it, the standard procedure during a breach is just to throw every available mobile task force right at it. But there is a very grim protocol in place. No mobile task force with fewer than 7 members is cleared to engage. Why 7? Well, historically, humanity's basic tactic for dealing with a wild predator was to grab enough friends, throw rocks at the lion, and just hope it runs away. But against 682, you aren't throwing rocks. You're essentially throwing your friends at it. And if you go in with fewer than 7 people, none of you are coming back.
Section 4, Real-World Hazard Comparison, Fictional Horror versus Earth's Deadliest. Let's ground this for a second.
8,000. So what is that number? That is the approximate units of radiation per hour emitted by the elephant's foot, also known as Chernobyl's hot mess. It's this extremely radioactive mass of corium that forms during the 1986 disaster. Basically, standing anywhere near its vicinity gives you an unparalleled lethal dose of radiation. It is an immediate, indisputable death sentence.
But I want you to compare these two threats. Our solution for the elephant's foot is pretty straightforward. Just leave it alone for a few thousand years while it cools down. The rule is simple. Don't go near it. It's passive. It's a thing. It can't move, so you can literally just walk away from it. But SCP-682, it actively hates us. It's highly mobile, it regenerates instantly, and it is actively hunting humanity.
You can't just leave it alone, because I promise you, it will not leave you alone.
Section 5. Theoretical Solutions. Extreme Containment Protocols. Things are about to escalate.
So what is the Foundation currently doing? Well, they contain it in a heavy-duty, acid-resistant steel chamber that is filled entirely with hydrochloric acid. Yep, that's it. That's the master plan. They are basically just continuously melting its dissolving body faster than it can regenerate, crossing their fingers and hoping for the best. And as we saw from those breach numbers earlier, it hasn't exactly been foolproof. Frankly, the Foundation is sick and tired of the whole ordeal. So let's look at some bolder theoretical plans.
Plan A takes us to literally the deepest point on the planet, the Kola super deep borehole over in Russia. The logic here is actually beautifully simple. Step 1, we take the creature and drop it 12,626 meters. That's over 7 miles straight down into the earth. Step 2, we fill that massive, incredibly deep hole right to the brim with hydrochloric acid. And step 3, we seal the whole thing up with incredibly heavy steel plating. Now, will it kill it? Absolutely not. Eventually, it would probably just dig its way out. But it would absolutely buy us a significant amount of time where we simply wouldn't have to worry about it.
But hey, if burying it in the Earth isn't quite permanent enough for you, let's look at a much loftier scenario. If SCP-682 is a threat to our planet and our people, why don't we just outsource the problem to the cosmos? Seriously, what if we just make it another planet's problem?
Enter the Lunar Protocol. Okay, I know it sounds totally absurd, but here's the logic. First, we subdue it in a sealed vat of acid. Second, we strap that vat to a rocket-propelled missile. And third, we launch that missile directly at the moon. Now yes, obviously this does mean we'd have to completely sacrifice any safe base of operations for a future lunar colony. But honestly, I'd say it's a fair trade. We still have Mars, right?
But that does leave us with one final, absolutely terrifying thought to ponder. If we actually manage to shoot the Unkillable Lizard into space, considering its staggering intelligence, its ability to adapt to literally any environment, and its boundless, seething hatred for humanity, if we send SCP-682 to the moon, how long until it figures out a way to turn the moon itself into a weapon against us? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the archives here on The Explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and until next time, take it easy.